This is the Zapata Brand Podcast, Quick Hits Edition, with George Zapata, with Coach Diz, and Jersey Jay-Z.
We are back with our quick hits. We haven't had them in a couple of weeks, and we have a lot to talk about. A lot of crap going on the last few weeks we've done. I think the last one we did was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I forget which one we did, but it was definitely a while ago. Coach Diz at the bottom, Jersey Jay-Z up top, back in Jersey, from Dumont, New Jersey, Williamsburg, Pennsylvania, respectively. And we've had a hell of a couple days here. Jersey, what's been happening over there in Dumont? What's the latest?
Well, I was hanging out with Greg and Jimmy, the Bull, and Lee Priest. We had a couple seminars to do, and looks like we got some guests coming on. Yeah,
that's what I heard. And also, in the midst of that, one of the things I did hear was that we have a virtual. You had a virtual meeting with somebody else who's talking to another person. I mean, I know it sounds kind of like talking to another person, but another big guest that we could be having shortly. That's your job there as the guest relations part of it to take care of. And it looks like you're doing good on that end. Coach Diz back in.
What up?
You were here today.
Yes, I was.
Finishing up some things. And whether you think it or not, very quickly, November 4th, coming around the corner.
Yes, it is.
And we do have a fight. The fight is made. If you want to tell everybody who it is, it's Leo versus who? Good.
Hello? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know you were. I thought you were going to put me on the big screen.
No. I didn't know if you were going to. I'll put you
Wayne
there.
Jarvis.
Wayne
Jarvis. He's a southpaw. You know a little bit about him as well.
Yeah, I fought him back in 2005, I think. 2005, 2004, right around there. I fought him. Yeah. So he's it's a tough fight for Leo to take on his first fight. I don't know if that's something he planned on taking. Well, the reality is he had to take the fight.
Yeah.
There's nobody else.
I think we have a good game plan ready for what we're going to do. I was working with him today, working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
So he's I think he knows what to do. So we just have to, with the butterflies in the belly, that's going to be there. So he's going to just have to, go through it, move right through it.
Yeah, I think that'll be our first big hurdle that we'll have to get over there. And there, you'll be mic'd up in the corner with Coach Rich. Good. And I'll be filming. I'll be on the stage filming. So then you'll really get the inside of what goes on in a boxing ring. Yeah. Not only that, in behind the scenes, because this we can just take and put it right up. What's happening? So anyway, we'll jump right into it. But first, let me tell you, I got a story.
Okay.
I actually have two stories. First story is an interesting one. The reality that I go to a Berwick football game, and someone says to me, "Hey, that Jersey Jay-Z is something else on the podcast." I mean, the odds of that I go to a Berwick football game and someone says that Jersey Jay-Z is something else on the podcast, it kind of took me for a loop. I said, "What the hell?" But definitely he's getting over. Definitely getting over with the Zapata Brand Podcast fans. I can tell you that. He's look at that, he's got the belt. And I tell you guys again, he is almost 50 years old. And he's walking around with a championship belt on. You fans love Jersey. There he is, 50 years old with a championship belt, walking around the house, probably pinning his kids for a championship. The other one was, I don't know if I told you guys, the other day, I'd been up about, I'd say 25 hours straight. And I went to the basement to sleep. I have my couch and stuff in the basement to sleep. As I'm sleeping down there, I hear a whistling. I hear a whistling noise coming down. There's a guy in the basement with a cup of coffee walking past me. And I was just randomly walked into the bagel shop basement, walked down, told me, and I got up. I said, "What the hell are you doing down here?" I said, "Oh, I'm fixing your sewer." What? I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So yeah, I got through the back door, and the odds that we have a pin pad in the back, and the place that he was looking for was a pin pad. The odds that that happened are like 1,000,000 to 1. He actually walked into the shop, went down the basement, and I just happened to be down there.
Wow.
What are the odds of that happening?
Now, what time was it? Was it around was it still like
no, it was like
operating hours?
No, well, yeah, it was operating hours. It was 9, 10 in the morning.
Okay.
9, 10 in the morning. I said, "What in the hell is going on here?" So I came upstairs, and the girl said, "Oh, some guy was in here looking for." Anyway, long story short, the guy was in the wrong town. He's supposed to be in Bloomsburg. He ended up in Berwick. So, the shit that happens to me,
you got a really great security system.
What's that?
You have an A-grade security system, huh?
Yeah. No, the back door was open. The girl goes in and out all the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Jersey. Do you have any questions? Because that's the biggest thing on the quick hits of the questions. So let's go with some questions. What are they related to, first of all? Just straight boxing, MMA, or what do you got?
Mostly all boxing.
Okay.
All boxing. 3 questions of boxing I got. First one is from Alex S. from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And he says, "Hey, Bagel George, I love boxing, but hate when fighters tie up. What is the purpose of tying up? And does it really serve a real purpose?"
Oh, tying up. That's a good question. Well, Alex, here's the reality. When they tie up, it's more of like a contract with your other fighter. It's more of like, I'm tired, you're tired. Let's just sit here and hold a little bit, and then break up and start it all over again. The only time tying up is necessary is when you're hurt. If you're hurt, you got to tie the guy up, because you have nothing to do. You're going to get hit. So the best thing you can do is grab his hands. If you grab his hands, he can't punch, and that's a tie up. It's horrible. I know it's actually illegal, but the tying up in the professional fight is, you got to remember, they have 10 to 12 rounds. So it's a long time. So they really have to, they're going to kind of stall a little bit. It's almost like stalling in amateur wrestling. It's a contract you're having. I put my hands here, no one's punching really. Maybe some punches in the back, on the side. That's about it. Nothing else. It's a bad habit to get into. If Alex, you're considering boxing, it's a bad habit to get into. You shouldn't do it. You should always, when your hands are free, you should always be punching. And that's really the only purpose of tying up, is when you're tired. That is it.
Wow.
Coach Diz.
Yeah, that is true. Perfect example was when Floyd Mayweather fought Shane Mosley. He caught Floyd right in the chin, and Floyd grabbed his arms, and that was actually holding him up.
Mm-hmm. And that was actually that's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, and that's you would have to do that. You don't want to go down. You're hurt, so you grab them. You grab them with your arms. Arms are arms. You can't grab with your hands, but arms are arms. Just when you're tired.
And you try to get underneath their elbow, so they can't move it. You just get right underneath their elbow and try to turn it up.
Now, again, there is some style of fighters that will do that so they can get set back again. They will throw a couple combos and then try to grab on if they get a little closer for the referee to break them up, so they get that distance again.
Yeah, I think that was important, for Vladimir Klitschko. You do the same type of deal.
Well, is it a strategy? Can they use it to tie up and get the other boxer's rhythm?
You shouldn't use it as a strategy. That's not a good strategy. I'll tell you what, you're not getting paid for that strategy. Yeah. Klitschko made a lot of money in Europe, but he didn't make a lot of money in the United States. He wasn't that popular.
Now, I'm not saying throw 2 punches, grab. No, I'm saying if you get in close enough where you're grab them so you can separate and get the distance again. Like you said, Klitschko.
That would be more but that would be more for a boxer like Klitschko. If you're an inside fighter who has to throw a lot of punches, you don't want to get in there and tying. It's a terrible habit, because then you're losing. When you're inside, you have to do your most of the damage on that couple seconds you got inside. You can't sit there and wait and grab his arm. It makes no sense. Let get your hands in tighter, so that way you can throw too.
But I would say the majority of them, I would say probably 95%, 97% is when you're hurt.
Yeah,
and
you do have to learn how to tie if you get hurt. Tommy Morrison never knew how to tie. That's why he got knocked out.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Great answer. All right. Next one is from Freddie from Parsippany, New Jersey. And he wants to know, hey, Zapata boys, this may be a dumb question, but do pro boxers have medical benefits?
Ooh, that's not a dumb question, actually.
No.
Okay.
Diz, you want to take it or want me to take it?
Funny, you could take it, but I was just going to say, I believe when you had Stitch on, he started talking about some of this with you. So you can go ahead and take it.
I have kind of some personal experience in that because of Chris and working with the pros. They are 1099 employees. They do not have medical benefits. The only thing they're covered for is their medicals to get the fight, which would be a CAT scan, maybe EKG if they're a little older. If you're getting real old, probably a stress test, your vision. Those things are provided by the promoter. But when you get stuff like medical benefits outside of that, no, you're a 1099 employee. That you're required to do that by yourself. The promoter is doing the absolute minimum. That is it. And they do that so they can quote unquote say you're getting the lion's share of the purse. That is a 1099 employee. That's fine. That is why I have a problem with UFC. UFC medical benefits are not there. They're only there for when you're in that ring, you get hurt in their octagon, in their facility. That is it. If you get something else outside, they ain't covering it. Exactly what Stitch talked about. If let's say a fighter has a fight that he needs, let's say he's getting $1,500, not a lot of money, but he's getting $1,500. He gets cut in training. Okay. That guy has to pay for that out of his pocket because he was cut in training. He was not cut in the boxing match itself. He's not covered for that. So now he not only loses that, he loses the purse of $1,500. That's not good. And that's something I think should be corrected in boxing. It should actually be corrected on the UFC's level. The UFC and pro wrestling get away with it. I don't know how they get away with it, but it's a very big loophole. They can't go anywhere else, but they have to abide by the rules. It doesn't make any sense. If I walked into someone's house as a plumber and they said to me, you got to put on this uniform, you got to only work here, and like you can't work anywhere, then that guy's going to pay my medical benefits and all my other stuff, my withholding taxes and all that stuff. But since I'm a contractor, I could be at this job, I could be at that job, I could be at anywhere. But yet I still provide my own medical insurance. So it is a broken system.
Yeah, and I think that's what Jake Paul was also talking about with him and Dana. We're going at it, with the fighters' pay and the insurance and stuff like that.
The problem is, here's the problem: is most promoters want the most money you can make. It is so hard to get them on the same page. It is so hard, because there's so. I mean, UFC is a different. See, the UFC is a different animal. They all work under that banner. They should all be provided medical insurance and stuff like that. They're under that umbrella. They cannot just say, hey, I'm going to fight for Bellator. They can't. But they're still 1099 employees. It makes no sense to me. I have no idea how they get away with that.
Before we go into the other questions, Jay, after the questions, we'll have to bring it back to UFC because I know something happened this last couple of days, and I want to talk to Georgian about it. So
yeah, we'll get onto that. But so as far as Alex, was it Alex who asked the question or Fred?
That was Freddie.
Excuse me, Freddie. That is a no-go. Nobody's got medical insurance there.
Wow. So in a big fight like Tyson against, let's say, whatever, and Tyson's preparing for the fight, gets hurt during the sparring or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You can't compare that.
No. Okay.
Mike Tyson's got millions and millions. He probably has insurance in place.
Okay.
Besides that, I bet you I wouldn't be surprised if he's insured on his body as far as the fight. Meaning if let's say he gets the fight signed or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if someone insures that fight happening and there's a back end deal made. Similar to like the Lords of London did with the WWF wrestlers back in the day.
Wow. And that actually leads us to our next question. This one is from Evan H. in Berks, PA. And he says, hey, Zapata brothers, if you look at all the professional sports, boxing seems the most corrupt. Is there a way to change that image And should we have a national commission in boxing?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, boxing's pretty corrupt. That's a good question. I would say with too many promoters and too many belts, I think a lot of the older promoters are getting out. So maybe it would come to where it cleans up. But when there's money involved, there's, always something, that's going to be corrupt.
That sport will never clean up. It is the only sport that you could walk in off the street. And I'm going to give you a couple stories.
Okay.
There is a guy who is a commissioner. I think he retired. Okay. And my guy was about 2-30. He was terrible. Okay. He had a fight.
Wasn't Dennis Burley?
No, Bossman's record was a little better than that. Not much, but he was better. But here's why it's so corrupt. So he went out and fought a guy who was like, he was okay. He wasn't great, had about a 500 record. John Scalzi, the guy's name is John Scalzi. Okay. John beats him. It was a hard fight, a hard fight. Went 12 rounds, a very hard fight, but John won. John wasn't supposed to win. He trained really hard. We won. Come out, he wins. Okay. Not 2 weeks later. Okay. We want to get him a fight, but for a lesser, we want to get him like a 4 or 5 round fighter who's not that good. And John could beat. We want to go with that. The commission turned to us and said, no way. That guy can't fight him. He's John's too good for him. Whatever. Now, John just got out of a 12-round fight, hard fight. John's record was below 500. And not 2 weeks later, right after we wanted to get this fight, a couple days after that, a promoter who was promoting ESPN2, remember ESPN2?
Yeah.
On Friday Night Fights, asked us to fight this guy named Jimmy Fox. I think his name is Jimmy Fox. His record was 19-0.
Wow.
And the commission was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Wait a minute. So you wouldn't give us a fight because it was for Jimmy Birchfield on ESPN2. He wouldn't give us a fight to give this guy a break. Get him a payday, but give him a break. It would have been a close fight. John wasn't the greatest technically, but he would go to fight. So you wouldn't take that fight. You wouldn't let us fight that guy. But yet you're going to turn around and let us fight a guy who's undefeated, 19-0. But because it was on ESPN and Jimmy Birchfield's card, you wanted it. That is corruption at the highest level. When you were able to walk in and just get a badge and say, I'm a trainer, when you're just able to walk in and get a badge and say, you're a cut man, and you can't, there is no other sport you can go into professional level, and that's your entry level. Your entry level to boxing is professional. That's off the charts ridiculous. So now take that into how it could be corrupt. Well, there's a guy, you could look him up now. His name is Reggie Strickland. He's about 2-175. The guy can fight, though. The guy can fight. James Holly, another guy, they can fight. But they bring them in to lose. And they tell them that. They say, you're going to lose. So you do what you have to do, but you're going to lose. Well, obviously, that's corrupt. Because the guy, they brought him in to lose. But the guy can fight. The guy legitimately can fight. Reggie Strickland can fight. Matter of fact, I saw something on ESPN that they said, why do you let this guy fight? And the commissioner said, the guy can fight. The commissioner knows he can't, he's in there to lose. It's just so corrupt that it affects everything. It's the easiest to corrupt because you only got to corrupt one person, the fighter. That's it. That's why the mafia ruled that for so long. They would corrupt the fighter. Wow. And that's why it makes so hard for boxing to shake that stigma. Because it was done for years, and it's always going to be that way. It'll always be that way. When one person can corrupt it, it'll be that way.
And I would go and talk about, because with UFC, remember a couple years ago, the trainer was betting on fights, and his fighters were.
Was he betting on his guy, or was he betting on?
I think he was betting on his guy, or the other guy to lose. The other guy to lose. So
that's
his
okay.
guy.
That's okay. That's totally legal.
In the first round, exactly the first round, and everything like that.
Wait. I remember the story
He predicted the first round knockout, everything, and that's what it was.
Wait. So did he bet on himself to win or the other guy to lose?
I believe he bet on his fighter to lose in the first round.
He bet on his fighter to lose?
Yes, and he was hurt. So he knew.
Well, there you go.
He knew he was hurt.
To show you. Okay. So that's that guy's stupid. That guy's stupid because
he's going to jail. I mean, they caught him.
You definitely. Yeah. How couldn't you? You're fighting on. You're betting on. Now that's so stupid. You never do that. You bet on yourself to win or the other guy to lose. That's the easiest way to do it because you're betting on yourself, and that's totally legal. You can do that.
Mm-hmm. So there's no way to really change the image.
You can't. It'll never change. Once there's, they say football is fixed, and they say all sports and basketball and whatever. Basketball might be a little easier to fix. Football, I think, is a little harder to fix because it's so physical. Boxing is the easiest sport to fix. It is easy to fix.
And it comes down to, look, basketball has 5 players on a court.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So that's why I know that's what you're saying. So baseball and football, have 11 people on the field. It's hard to just tell all of them and all of them keep it a secret.
You can never commit a murder with more than one person. Just remember that. Someone will always tell. Someone will always tell.
Yep.
That's what happens.
All right. Well, that brings us to our last question. This one is from Karen from Brookdale, New Jersey. And she's actually wants to know about the money splits. She said, if you're a top-ranked boxer and you get a big purse winning, how do you pay your cornermen?
George, you could take that.
I'll take that if you want.
You dealt right with them.
Okay, now this is where it gets goofy. Okay. So a lot of times, unless you're a top tier guy, your split is very minimal. Very minimal. Most people, if you're making 400 or 100 a round, so it goes 400 for a 4-rounder, 600 for a 6-rounder, like that. The manager and the trainer, they're not taking much. The only time they do is if they're providing your rent and your food, and they give you a check every week, they're taking a percentage back, which could be as high as 33%, which I think is fair. If he's just making a phone call, setting up a fight, no, it's not fair. 10%, maybe 5%. But most managers, I will tell you this, don't take that much in the beginning. Now, when you get to the high level fighters, it usually goes, and even on that level too. That level, they don't take a percentage because the percentage is nothing. So if I was training, I'll give you an example. Chris, when I think he made $6,000 for the one, or 60,000 for the one fight. If I took 10%, I would get $6,000, right?
Yep.
Okay. No, he gave me $500 for training. Wow. That's just what it is. That's just, and I didn't expect that. Just like, oh, okay, that's just what it is. So at the time I was only 24 years old, and you're talking back in 2000, 23 years ago. So significant.
This was a fight on HBO, correct?
It was a fight on HBO. So the significance was that was a big. That sounds like not a lot, but to me, I was okay with it because Chris was making a living. 60,000 isn't a lot of money. 60 grand ain't a lot of money because your taxes are taken out right off the top because you're making 60 grand. Okay. After that, you have your manager. Your manager's taking 33%. How much is left? Not much. So here's how the split goes in the bigger fights. The bigger fights go up to 33%. Well, first of all, 1099 employee, you're taking your taxes out. So we'll take $1 million just to start. To give you the realist number, let's just say you make $1 million and you think $1 million is a lot for a fight. Take out, you're going to be in the 40% tax bracket, and probably 48. So let's just take 50. So now you're down to 500 grand. Out of that 500 grand, you got to now pay your managers, your trainers, and all your expenses in gym, which would mean your sparring partners, your food, everything. That comes off of there. I would gather you'd walk out with about $300,000 in $1 million fight. So the splits are not good. But the thing about the trainers that do, as you start getting up to the 5, 10, 15, $20 million purses, those boxers are not giving you 10%. They're giving you a set fee. They're saying you're going to get 250 grand. They're not giving you a percentage. Because look at Tyson Fury. He made $35 million that one fight. Mm-hmm. You think he gave his trainer $3.5 million for the training? No,
no,
$250,000. So I mean that's the difference, and it's a big difference.
But there's only a few. There's only a few.
There's only a few. The numbers are very sketchy as far as what they give you. Like I've gotten $10 from a guy one time. I mean, wow. I think Boss Man threw me $50 to tape his hand and work at the corner, and I didn't even want it from him. I'm like, nah, you're good. It's just not.
I mean, that's when you do it just for the love of it.
Yeah, and I was working all the corners. I worked because it was everyone from Berwick versus everyone from Altoona. I had 6 guys. They had 6 guys. It was Dennis Burley, Bruce Corby, John Scalzi, Mike Rios, and Darlene Sable. We went out there. We fought. I wrapped all their hands. I worked all their corners. And I walk out with $2,500 because I brought the guys. The promoter paid me, $2,500 for a night for me was good. You're talking back in 2000. That wasn't bad. That's 23 years ago. This is probably like $5,000 right now. So it was, the economics of boxing is very subjective. They're going to pay you what they feel. So don't expect big pay for them. Don't.
Wow. That's pretty, that's it with the questions, but that was pretty good. Good answer.
Yeah.
Diz, let's get back to your questions there, because what happened on the weekend?
So we had 2 major. Next week we have UFC and 2 major fights. The main event and the co-main had to change their opponents. I'll talk to you about that after I talk to you about this. USADA.
Oh, I saw that.
Cut ties or with UFC. There's some controversy going on with it. Is it because of McGregor? Is it not? McGregor, they were putting on a stick plan of 6 months. He has to be in the pool for 6 months. And then all of a sudden, they're out. So what's your opinion on that? And do you think McGregor had a bigger – it just shows you, too. McGregor's, the cash cow. What he wants, it looks like it's coming.
I don't. You know what? I don't know what the scenario was, but I do think USADA released a statement and was very. They kind of toed that line of there was some shady shit going on. So you have to know your facts if you're going to throw that out there, because they got some good lawyers over on both sides. Yeah. You better be right, because if something's wrong, it does on the surface look a little fugazi, if you mean something's going on there. Mm-hmm. So because why, it's no secret Conor McGregor was on something. I mean, there's no secret, none at all. You don't.
Well, I will tell you this. I will tell you this. One of the vice president of UFC,
Hunter Campbell.
No, not Hunter Campbell. The other guy, Sean.
Shelby.
Yes. Shelby talked to McGregor's doctor, and he was like, look, he might not be able to have motion in his ligaments. He technically has to get on something to straighten those ligaments. So they knew behind the scenes that there's some stuff going on.
Okay. Now here's if you've noticed, the Mark Hunt lawsuit was thrown out. And the reason it was thrown out was because you cannot guarantee, UFC could not guarantee anybody. Well, no fighter, no promoter could guarantee this guy's not on something. You can't guarantee it. Okay?
Was that before USADA or no?
That was when USADA was in, because USADA gave him the exemption, a 30-day exemption. Okay. So, all right. So now think about this. So they can't guarantee you he's on something. They can't. So UFC can just say, we didn't know what he was on. So the precedent's already been set. That judge already ruled that. So the fact is, they don't know. What he does is what he does, but they put him for him to drop out of the pool. I mean, that just shows that there's something going on. Now, I really don't know if McGregor, I don't think he's as big. I don't think he's as big as he's going to be. I don't, but I'd see him getting knocked out when he gets back.
Yeah, but they want to do UFC 300 in Saudi Arabia. He's already said, welcome to the, family. McGregor made a tweet about that, so he wants to fight in Saudi Arabia. And I think that's March, April. So that's right there at 6 months. It's just going to look fishy if McGregor fights.
It looks very fishy. It looks extremely fishy. Like,
for Dana White to come back and start attacking right away, right away, that just shows, okay, you're at fault at some things.
See, that's the mistake Dana White does. That's the Donald Trump. That's the Donald Trump going attacking somebody. I like Dana White as a capitalist. I think he's good. I like him. I think he's straight and he's on. But I think that when he starts attacking people, that almost shows that there's something going on. Like he'll always attack someone who attacks him.
Yep.
I mean, he goes after him hard, even if there's like he plays the game behind the scenes in the contract negotiations. He did it with Khabib when he was supposed to fight for the title. He did it with Eddie Alvarez and McGregor. You know, he plays that game.
Yep.
Go right or wrong, he plays it well. But it's the one thing I don't like about him. He just and when he always attacks somebody, he always attacks someone when he knows he's wrong. He always attacks somebody.
Exactly.
I think there's more to this because USADA would not. I don't think USADA would come out like that and be like, no, it's because of Conor McGregor. They told us this. We said no. And next thing you know, you got now whether it's just a smoke screen and they're saying, oh, Hunter Campbell is out there saying, we're going to sue you. We're going to do this. It could be just a smoke screen because believe me, people throw lawsuits out there just to scare the shit out of you. And then there's nothing behind it. You know, obviously you got to go to court. You got to figure it out.
But why would USADA to do that? Just throw smoke screen out. Why?
I don't know.
Their contract was ending December 31st.
Yeah, but Hunter Campbell said that he didn't realize that they were going to stop it. He said
he thought they were going to sign.
The timeline for them don't match up. So like one's saying that we told him it was over and that's why he said that. They say we went in and told him this and they said, oh well, you're out. So the timeline is messed up. One is saying
a couple months ago, Dana White was on a podcast and he was bashing USADA. So they probably knew, look, we're done.
Okay.
We're out of here.
All right, here's the problem with that. So he's doing that just 1 year ago, 2 years ago. That USADA was the gold standard. Couldn't be any better.
Oh, yeah.
So now magically when McGregor's involved 1 year later, they're not.
That's what I'm saying.
Something's up.
I'm saying. In the words of Tony Page, this story's got legs.
This story's got legs. It is like a caterpillar. Okay, something's up. It just doesn't seem. You know, you'll trust me. This story will go away. No, for some reason, Dana White is like the Teflon Don.
Yep,
he is. He smacked the crap out of his wife in front of everybody on New Year's. You couldn't get any more public than that.
Yep.
I mean, they probably gave him a raise. You know,
exactly. And there's just something with it. And the ones that need to step up are the old fighters like John Jones, the safes and stuff like.
Right, okay, but John Jones can't say anything. He got caught twice. He can't say anything.
Picograms.
But it doesn't matter. He was only exonerated because they said, "Oh shit, he's got cocaine in the system too." Whoops. So that's the only when they exonerated him because they said it was that's not you can't do that.
But that's going back. Okay, but that's going to the whole thing of some fishy stuff is going on.
Okay,
they moved the whole fight for him.
Hold on. So how does this get solved? Who does it? John Jones won't do it because he's making too much money. What older fighter is going to step up that they give a shit about that they decided you can just go Bellator?
No, they won't. But Josh Barrett was one. He got in trouble. He got caught with steroids, yes.
Who? But Josh Barnett?
Barnett. But,
they didn't care if he left. They could care less.
I know. But I'm just throwing those names out.
But there's one. The only person
Jake Shields was one. But
there's got to be someone who is coming up who can stop the nonsense. There's got to be someone.
There won't.
Someone who would do the Hulk Hogan or Jesse Ventura thing. Remember WrestleMania 2 when all the stuff went out, everything was there, and he came into the locker room and said, "All right, guys, the way we get a union is we don't show up." And Hulk Hogan went around and told McMahon they got rid of Jesse Ventura. Because if that show didn't go off, McMahon would have lost his business. Yep. So he went behind the scenes. You need someone like that with everything's signed, ready to go. All the promotion goes out and you don't show up. Again, I think you're right. I don't think anybody will do it. But I don't know if there's a big enough superstar to do it.
The only one that would have probably done it, and God forbid he might be out there, is Nagano. He went face to face. He went, toe to toe with Dana White. But
to be honest with you, I don't care if they're all on him.
Oh
who
no,
cares?
and that's what there's. I think it's going to come down. There has to be levels to it.
You know, not only that, it should just be like, okay, who's got the best pharmacy? Might as well just go, just figure it out. Do it. You're all legal. Go, and see what happens.
That won't happen.
I think that you mean to tell me there's no fighters no boxers that are on steroids? I think they're all on.
No, they are. They're all on.
No level on that level.
NBA players,
NBA, they get caught all the time.
Football players are all on it. You know that.
Football players.
But the levels are different. The levels are different. They're allowed to have a certain level, right? Isn't that true?
No,
the NFL, your hormone levels have to be a certain way.
Yeah, but I think it's the testing is so. It's so. I'll put it to you this way, okay? I know somebody who plays on a high level college football team. Okay, they test him every time there's a test because the percentage you have to test of your players is 10% in the NCAA. Okay, they do the punter, the kicker, this guy because they know he's not on anything. They know he's not even on, cigarettes. They know he doesn't drink. They get all these low-level players so they meet that 10% mark. This came right from this guy. It didn't come from me. Wow. So I'm not saying it. He told me. So that's how they beat the system because he said they know there's people on it. They don't give a shit. They don't care. It's more money for them. They want to keep this machine rolling. Yep. So that's how it works. It really does. I hate to tell you guys.
Well, yeah, I know. But going back to the other two fights that we're talking about next week, we'll probably do a quick hits about,
Yeah, we should. Those are good.
For next week, but it's
Tyson Fury fight, that one.
No, that's down. Oh, Tommy Fury.
Let me tell you something.
I saw him train.
That he is going to be. That's going to be bad. That's going to be really bad because Tyson Fury is a good big fighter. It's going to be really bad.
I don't think so. I think Tyson's going to carry him.
Shut up. Shut up. This is going about 1 round or 2 rounds. That is it. He's going to knock him out. You're out of your mind. It would look bad if he carried him. He looks so bad. I've never seen anyone look that bad. That was supposed to be. That is that good at UFC. I've never seen anyone look that bad.
So if the over under a round and a half, what are you taking?
It'll go 1 round.
I'll go 2. I think 2 or 3, right around there.
So you'll go over.
I'll go over. I mean, because I think he's just gonna.
He's gonna carry him for 2 rounds. There you go.
That's not carrying. That's letting him sit in the ring for a little bit. Carrying is what Mayweather did to McGregor. That's carrying. He took a couple punches, let him get close. You had that little bit of a glimmer that he's going to take a shot at him. Look, when McGregor fought Mayweather, there was Santa Claus was telling us, McGregor's knocking him out. See, there was a chance. Oh, Santa Claus is a guy who fights for us. There's a chance.
Santa Claus fights for you guys?
No, the guy we call him Santa Claus because he shows up to the gym once a year. We call him Santa Claus. Mike DeFini, and I know he watches too. We call him Santa Claus. He shows up once a year, and he comes in the gym. Ho ho ho! Like Mike, what are you bringing? What kind of presents you're bringing for the kids? And he's like, "Yeah, I'm starting next week, going every day." We won't see him to the following year. Right. You always know it's Christmas time. Mike DeFini shows up to the gym.
Yeah, great guy.
So there was always that glimmer of hope, like that little shot that McGregor had. Okay, because they saw him train. The people who were watching Ngannou train that thought he had a chance, are like, there's no way. There's no way he's got a shot. No way. No. But the fights that are coming on for UFC, that's a different ball game. Those are good fights.
So we got the main event is Islam Makhachev versus, it was supposed to be Charles Oliveira. He got hurt. He got cut in training. So 2 weeks left. They picked up Alex Volkanovski, who we fought last time and went to decision. It was a controversial decision. He won, but, Islam won, but Alex really did good. He's a weight class lower than him. And then the other one was supposed to be Hamza Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa had staph infection on his elbow.
You know what? I wanted to see that fight. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a great fight. But the new fight.
Kamaru
Usman coming into fight on a couple days notice, but they said he's been training. Now he trains. He does train. He trains with Gilbert Burns down in Boca Raton, Florida. So the question's going to be this: is Usman in shape? If Usman's in shape, he gives him a chance. That gives him a chance. If he's not in shape, I don't like this fight for him.
The one thing is Usman was the pound king a couple years ago. He was always in shape. He always had cardio. So I don't think that's going to be there. I think more. I mean, we'll go into predictions next week, but I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's going to be an interesting fight.
I think it's a great fight.
Both of them, and I think when I pick you'll be very shocked of my picks next week.
It's those two. When you told me those, I said that those two are fights. That was two fights I'd pay for, because those two guys, to that matchup are both. Now we haven't. Hamzat Chimaev hasn't been tested like his with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is training with Usman, a little different there, but I love Volk. I think he is a great fighter. He gets out of all types of problems. He has a great chin, fights above his weight class.
And the crazy thing is, Jay-Z, if you haven't saw this guy was a rugby player.
Yeah.
He was 245 pounds.
Yeah.
Now he fights at 145.
Yeah.
145.
145. Wow. But he's jacked.
His lower body is probably about 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So, his lower
jacked.
body. Yeah.
So
it's going to be a good fight.
Oh, my God. That fight, I can't wait till that fight comes up. That's a great fight next week. Those are two really good fights that they filled in for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of terrible fights, last night, what the hell? Logan Paul versus KSI.
No. Versus Dylan Dennis.
Dylan Dennis. The hell am I talking? Yeah. KSI was fighting Tommy Fury.
That was another
what in the world was that?
It was a circus, I think.
It was that was the worst fight I've ever seen.
I think the funniest thing, there was two funny things. Dylan Dennis laying down, opening his legs like Logan Paul's fiance. That's what he said he did.
Jesus.
That's why he said that he laid down and opened his legs. That was kind of funny.
That is pretty funny, actually.
And then when he tried to get in the guillotine and he slipped off and Logan Paul gave him a grounded pound. That was funny. That was funny. But it was just
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It was a circus. It was WWE.
Yep. I don't know how they let that go. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they own that company. KSI owns Memphis Boxing.
Yeah, but still, it's stupid. It's just a stupid. It makes everything look dumb. Like, and look, if it was a good fight, it would have been good. It was stupid. I was more upset that Poppy Salt got knocked out.
Yeah.
Poppy Salt. I like him.
Poppy?
Well, Salt Poppy. That's it. I like that guy.
Poppy. He was like 200 pounds. Got in shape.
Yeah, he does his dance, whatever. Oh, he got caught with a left hook. When
he was winning. He was winning.
He was winning the fight. He got caught and out he went. I'm shocked.
And then, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No.
Oh, I was gonna say, and then the Tommy Fury versus KSI. That was just.
They said it was controversial.
It was controversial, and like Tommy Fury, come on, man, come on.
I know. Yeah.
You couldn't do anything to him.
No genetics there. The genetics didn't pass along to him. They just that skipped a generation there.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday we had RITA Gigante here at the bagel shop doing a little book signing for us, and it went well. It went really well. She came here from 9 to 12:30, 9 to 1 o'clock, right around there. Everyone that came in excited to see her. She sold a lot of books. They enjoyed the podcast, and you know what? Getting a good response here too. The local stuff, the local school board meeting that I had on there, got a lot of good responses too. But the things that I never imagined we'd get good views are getting the views. The next couple of days we have a lot of people coming on. I have a guy who I'm excited to talk to is from the Iconic. He has a company that is built on leadership, and he has a great podcast that I listen to. But also tomorrow, I have the mayor of Williamsport coming on.
Oh, wow.
Someone I want to talk to about Little League World Series, the stuff he did during COVID, how he really, the town was struggling there. It was really struggling, and then he came in and turned that place around. He gets hit with COVID, so it was kind of goofy, but he did turn it around. And someone I want to talk to. I want to hear his insights on how he feels.
Yeah, because the crime rate is a little higher over here. People coming from Philly, and he had to clean that up. And he did a good job. He's actually doing a good job. Yeah. Then you have the other show posting with probably in the next week or so, right?
That'll probably post Monday. I did the CEO of Eaton Park Hospitality, Parkhurst Dining. That's Jeff Broadhurst. He has his company's huge. A guy that I've looked at as a mentor. Anytime I had a question on business or something, I'd call him up. This is a guy who doesn't have to take my phone call. We shouldn't even be on the same planet as far as like business wise. And he would take my phone call, always talk to me. Hey, you want to go this way? And when you see the interview, you'll see how good of a talker he is, because he makes me look good. He wants me to,
it's not that hard.
He wants me to look good. He doesn't care about himself. He'll always make sure that, hey, that's a great question. He always, you were saying this.
But it always goes back to the smile cookies.
Yeah.
He's trying to make you smile, trying to make you, good.
Always. So. That's always, and he's a good marketer, knows where he wants to go with his conversations, and definitely a smart dude. Definitely a smart guy. You talk to him and you're really like, wow. And I don't know if you've heard that interview yet, Diz. I don't know if I sent that over to you.
Yeah, I heard it. The good part was the interesting part was about the AI.
Yeah, the AI coming down the road that's a concern for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. In our business, it's going to be good and bad, and he'll let you know what he thinks is going to be the good and the bad. But there's definitely things on both ends. But Jay-Z, what's the odds of us getting something together with Greg and maybe Lee or Jimmy the Bull?
I would say 99% done.
Okay,
those guys are. We've talked to them, hanging out with them. We're just gonna set up a date, and you guys will definitely have Jimmy the Bull. We'll have Leon, and we'll have Greg on. They'll be on.
And that'll be good, because I haven't seen Greg in a while. I talked to him just the other day. I set up his YouTube account. He was losing money there. I said, Greg, you're losing money. But he's not a guy who's about the money. He just wants to put out good content and stuff like that. So I set it up for him. He's got it. Now if you go to see if you watch his shorts or his videos, you can give him super chats and super thanks. We have that up here for us, and we want everyone here to subscribe, to like, to share our stuff too, just as much as the people that we have on as guests too. We'll take super thanks. We'll take that all. I think you'll see a link here that you can put that on. It's at the bottom, and you can buy stuff from our shop, whatever you guys want. That all helps the channel. We're almost closing in on 1,000 subscribers where we'll get the AdSense. That'll be better. We do have a really big show coming in January. I spoke to a few people today. We can't say who it is yet, but it's a massive show, and it'll be live here at Berwick. The idea came around the other day. I talked to Coach Diz, Jersey Jay about it. Both agreed it's a great idea, but it will be 2 people, one live stream and one in studio, but out front in studio that night. It's gonna be a very big show.
Yeah. What time are you gonna do it? Probably after hours at the bagel store?
Yeah, we'll have to do it after hours, because number one, we have to take all the stuff out of the front and put the chairs in. We're gonna sell about 50 to 60 seats. He'll come around and do his meet and greet, then probably sign his book or whatever he has, and then the live stream where they can ask questions to our big guests.
Yep.
That'll be good.
I mean, you were pretty busy on yesterday with Rita there.
We were. I mean, a lot of people were coming in, seeing Rita, buying stuff, sitting down, having. Rita's a fun person to talk to. She's unique in her own little way, where she can sit there and talk to you, make you feel comfortable. When you talk to her, it's like you've known her for 1,000 years. Yep. Even when I texted her this morning, I texted her, and it's Rita's Rita. She's not a person who's full of herself. Will always sit there. She's trying to work on a big guest for us, and it's someone who I've wanted to speak to for a long time. And just those little connections that we make gives us the opportunity to have these people on. To think that we'd be here at this time with only 3 months in is like amazing. like kind of like a miracle, because I didn't think it would be that. I didn't think it would be this quick.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick funny Jack story.
Oh,
so I was sitting up front with Jax, and he's sitting next to Rita, and he just got back from the football game. He's all wet, so he says to Rita, goes, "Hey, how long did it take you to write that book?" So she's like, "Oh, it's a process. It took me about 2 years." He's like, 2 years. He's like, "Wow." So right. So then after that, he's like, "I'm hungry," and he said he was hungry. So I said, "Oh," Rita's like, "Go get him something." He goes, "I don't want to piss off my dad. He's busy."
Well, that's Jax.
Yeah.
That's Jax.
He'll let you know.
Jay-Z, you haven't seen it. Jax will sit outside and have a cup of coffee with you. He will sit at the table and have a cup of coffee with you.
Yep.
A cup of coffee, a real cup of coffee.
It's full of that vanilla shit and the cream thing. But he'll sit there and have a cup of coffee and talk to everybody. It was funny. I just talked to somebody today about Jax. One of the guys said he was over the house having a sleepover. He sat at the adult table to start talking, have a conversation. He's like, how the hell does this kid act like this? He's essentially half politician, half bullshitter. I mean, just sit there. Jax wants to know everything. Mm-hmm. He wants to know what's going on. You can't put nothing by him. Like if I have a conversation with Landon, like if Landon's got something going on, I'm like, hey, listen, your grades or whatever it is. Jax wants to know.
Yep.
What's his grades like, Dad?
Jax and he won't be shy to let it loose too.
No,
be shy.
No, Jax is not. Totally different from Landon. It's definitely a unique, definitely unique for them too. Yeah. The other is different than the other. Both different. Both totally different. Jax, this little small speedster, gets around the outside corner and goes. Landon more the power runner, shifty but powerful. When he's not afraid of contact. Jax don't want to get hit. He's gone. He takes off. And that's the big difference. But yeah, Jax is fun. Jax is fun to have around up front. He
2 years to write that book. He's like, wow. He's like, wow, 2 years.
Yeah, he's definitely different. That's good. Well, you guys wrap up. Anything else that's going on? Anything coming up in the next couple of days for Coach Diz?
No, but actually, I did want to ask you something, George. And Leo and I were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Any Landon sniffing around about boxing? What's up with that? What's going on?
Yeah, Landon may step away from boxing from football for a little bit. Maybe take a year or so off. And he wants to train now, and now he wants to fight Gotti's kid. He just wants to. He looks at his videos that he posts up there. This is the weird thing about social media shit. Like you see that and you're thinking, okay, this kid, they're pumping him up. He's not his dad. Okay, it's not a knock on the kid. It's not a knock on the kid. I wouldn't do that. But to a kid like Landon, he's like, I want to fight that kid to show him that I can beat him. So for us, in that sense, I'm like, well, is that something that I want my son to do? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if he wants to do it. Well, he certainly put it in a situation where it was just, he's now putting his time in boxing. He said he wanted to turn towards that. If we can get the fight, it'll be me and Leo taking him to Canada, I believe, to fight there, then coming back to Pennsylvania to fight him there. So it would be a 2-fight series. Thing is, he is 15. He just turned 15. He is 4-0, I think. Landon's 7-1. So I think one more year.
How old is Landon? I forgot.
Landon's 13. Okay. Yeah, so he has to. I think he can fight him now, but we want to wait till he's 13, like 14. He would be 16. It'd be an easier fight, I think, for Landon at that point. But he's definitely.
So he's sniffing around.
He's there now. He's definitely something around. I think he's got 2 more games for football. That'll end the season. I think he's going to take a year off, or 2. I don't know. Whoa! We're going to decline this. We're going to decline this. Jax, why are you calling?
You probably heard the.
Yeah, he probably heard the podcast.
He's probably like,
okay, where did I go here? There we go. Whoa, where did I go? There I go. Did that pop on there?
It did pop up.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, here we go again.
He's pissed
Jax
off.
is just killing me. He's killing me. Jax, you're killing me.
Jax is pissed off.
Jax is gonna piss off Dad. Gonna piss off Dad. He doesn't know it.
Maybe we should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. I'm gonna throw the phone in a minute.
All right.
Yep. But Jersey Jay-Z, get a hold of Greg. Guys, just so you know, like and subscribe to the channel, the Zapata Brand Podcast on YouTube. We're going to get Greg on. We're going to get Lee on. We're going to get Jimmy the Bull on. Coach Diz, November 4th, Leo, Wayne Juris, live. Tickets are sold out, I believe. I am not sure, but I think they're sold out. It'll be arena. It'll be over there at the West Side Ballroom. So it's a hot ticket to get. If you can get one, you know, you're a lucky one because it's sold out. Jersey Jay-Z, we will see you in a couple weeks, I think.
Cameraman Zoom.
Okay. Jersey Jay-Z. God, you know, oh, for crying out loud. All right, let me wrap this up. All right, guys, I will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.